Ms. Perry, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Loren Perry, and I'm currently the copy editor in the nonfiction department of this enterprise, and I have been in that position for more than 10 years. And I'm married to Casey Perry and have 2 lovely children.
Could you please tell us more about Casey specifically?
I met Casey in grad school and fell in love with him the first time we met. And we are good friends with Ryan Reynolds, the CEO of this enterprise, and we frequently go to each other's house with him, and everything was perfect before Casey got diagnosed.
So could you tell us more about Casey's diagnosis?
Yes, definitely. In 2007, Casey started to have short-term memory problems and got really irritable and suffered from severe headaches. Later, we found out that he got grade 4 astrocytoma.
So could you tell us specifically about the grade 4 astrocytoma? What are the details of your husband's illness?
We found out that GBM is a tumor that is comprised of many cell types, which is why it is so hard to treat. And if a surgery is not being performed, his 2-year survival rate will be less than 10%.
So to me, that sounds expensive. In your own estimates, how much do you think that would cost?
With all the meds and post-op treatment, we're definitely expecting something over $300,000.
And how did you plan to pay for something of that exorbitant amount?
Well, you have to know that, like, by the time of the kidnap, the Hollywood publishing company had already offered me a new job, which the medical insurance is going to cover all the medical expenses.
So at the time of the kidnapping, you were not in need of any extra money?
No.
Okay. Did you tell anyone at your current employer about this new job offer?
Yes, but I had only told the HR representative of this enterprise, and I hadn't yet told Ryan Reynolds.
But before this case, were you and Ryan Reynolds close friends?
Yes, we're very close friends. We frequently go to each other's house for dinner.
And did you know someone named Peyton Braylow?
Yes, she was my babysitter.
And did you recommend her to the Reynolds?
Yes.
So you mentioned that she used to work for you. Does she not anymore?
No.
And why is that?
Because we found her still.
Objection, Your Honor. What is the relevance of this?
Well, as I'm sure the other counsel knows, the defense can cast the case of the prosecution in reasonable doubt by bringing up another potential suspect that was investigated by Devin Walsh, was investigated by Jordan Nathanson, clearly has some bearing on the reasonable doubt in the mind of our lack of jury, and therefore any questioning as far as Peyton Braylow directly pertains to the case as a whole.
Yes, but you are questioning the character. Sorry, Your Honor. Counsel is questioning the character of Peyton Braylow, who is not on trial at the moment, and she cannot be allowed to testify to the character of another individual who is not on trial. If he would like to question the character and credibility of Peyton Braylow, she was already on the stand.
Actually, we're not questioning the character of Peyton Braylow. We're merely discussing my client's relationship with her, which is directly relevant.
That's a pretty good save, Mr. Lukowski. I think we're going to allow some more testimony. If there continues to be a problem, please feel free to stand up again and tell me about it, and I will handle it accordingly.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, why is it that you fired Peyton Braylow?
Because we found her stealing money from us, and she is basically just an irresponsible babysitter.
Objection. This is irrelevant to the case. Whether or not she's a responsible or irresponsible babysitter is her character, and that's irrelevant as she's not the defendant.
There will be no further questions on Peyton Braylow's character, Your Honor.
Okay.
Can we ask the...
Is that a concession that what just came out
was
in fact objectionable?
No. but there will be no more of what the prosecution could classify as character. Whether or not they're correct or not remains to you, Your Honor.
Can we ask that the jury be?
Can we ask the
that the
imaginary jury?
What we're going to do,
Be
what
stricken?
we're going to do is we're going to instruct the missing court reporter to strike that last line of testimony from the record. But we're also going to direct the jury
To not.
to not regard anything this witness had said in regards to theft, the theft commentary, apparently was fairly problematic, so we're going to strike that in the entirety. Why don't you pick up with a new line of questioning?
Thank you.
So, okay, after you fired Miss Braylow, did you ever see her again?
Yes, the night of Bailey being kidnapped, we went to Rena's house with them, and I saw Peyton coming out and considerably, strangely composed, and yes.
Okay, so you were with the Reynolds the night that Bailey was kidnapped?
Yes, they went to our house for dinner to celebrate your anniversary, and everything was just great until we ran out of wine.
Okay, so when you ran out of wine, what did you do?
Because I know that the Renos enjoy their wine very much, so I went to the liquor store next town over by my high school old friend Frankie Gustavo.
And did you go in, purchase the wine, and then leave immediately after?
Well, you know, Frankie is like a big talker, so we kind of caught up a bit, and then afterward he let me go, and then I immediately went back home.
So between the hours of 9:30 p.m. and 10:20 p.m., when you were out of the house, you were with Frankie Gustavo for the entirety of the time?
Aside from driving the car, yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. So, Mrs. Perry, it's true that your husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor recently,
Yes.
but there was a surgery that could help him live as long as 20 more years, right?
Yes, if there is no complications.
Yes.
Yes.
Please say yes or no for all questions unless I instruct you otherwise. Now, the insurance and salary you receive from your position at Fizz Enterprises is not enough to afford the surgery, is it?
Objection. This is irrelevant to the case because at the time of the case, the witness was under the
That's not true.
pretense that she would be hired by a different company that would, in fact, cover these expenses. So her current employer, as it stands right now, is not relevant to the past.
Here, I think we have a situation where you're anxious that the question may misrepresent facts to a jury, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and so I think it's relevant.
I will address the Hawley job offer.
Yeah, and so I think what we have is not really the grounds for an objection, but the basis for a redirect. You might have gotten that with a mischaracterization, but not with that relevance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, the insurance and salary you received from your position at Fizz Enterprises was not enough to afford the surgery, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, fortunately, you received a job offer from Hawley Publishing Company, right?
Yes.
And you were made aware of this job offer in a letter on October 18th, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And their health insurance is going to cover all of the medical expenses, right?
Yes.
Now, could they hire you right away? Could Hawley hire you right away?
No, but because of the recession, for another 6 months.
Okay. So they couldn't hire you for at least 6 months, right?
Yes.
Now, so you wouldn't begin to receive the new health insurance you needed for at least 6 months.
Yes.
Now, you said in direct examination that your husband's condition is very difficult to treat, right?
But he is now in remission.
Okay. He's in remission, but you say that it was very difficult to treat.
Yes.
So please answer yes or no. The 2-year survival rate for this condition is, as you said, less than 10%, correct? So, yes or no, once again. Ideally, you would get this operation for your husband as soon as possible, correct?
Objection. Counsel's asking for the witness's opinion. She has no medical background that would allow her to make an ideal judgment on when when the treatment should or should not be given ideally. She's no expert.
But she is married to, and so the real question is this an opinion that only a doctor can have? Is that your contention, that only a doctor could have that opinion?
Realistically, yes, only a doctor could have this opinion correctly.
I intended the question to ask whether or not Mrs. Perry would prefer that her husband receive the operation as quickly as
Well,
possible,
that's definitely an
ideally.
opinion.
Yes, and it is an opinion based on her personal experience with her husband.
I might have to agree with Ms. Farber.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'll repeat the question. In your opinion, would it be preferable for your husband to get this operation as quickly as possible?
Ideally, I wouldn't even want my husband to ever have this surgery.
Given that he has already been diagnosed and that this operation is available, ideally, would you prefer that he get the operation as soon as possible?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. But you won't get the necessary funds for at least 6 months, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Now, on the night of the kidnapping, you went to your regular wine store to get wine, true? And how long does that drive usually take you?
It's a 10-minute drive.
10-minute drive. On that night, how long were you out of the house, Mrs. Perry?
I actually don't know, but I think it's around an hour.
Okay, so around an hour. So you got home at 10:20, correct?
Yes, I guess so.
Okay. And then after you got home, the Reynolds showed vacation photos and you continued on with your dinner party, correct?
Yes.
And then you say the police called your home around 11:30 to inform the Reynolds that their son had been kidnapped. Is that true?
Yes.
And could you tell me who picked up the phone?
Objection of relevance.
What's the relevance?
Who picked up the phone?
I'm tracing the events that happened that night of the kidnapping.
Events such as where were you when the kidnapping was suspected to have happened is relevant. Events such as who picked up the phone are not.
And I'm having trouble with the phone pickup. Can you help me understand how that is essential to any element of the case?
The phone pickup will help me ascertain the credibility of this witness and her husband's testimony because, as you will see, they have contradicting viewpoints on this.
So to have a specific testimony just for the purpose of contradicting another testimony.
I believe
that's
that getting at a witness's credibility is always admissible.
But this is not getting at this particular witness's credibility.
I think you win that one, Mr. Krakowski. That's pretty good.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think, Ms. Farber, there may be a way to address what you're concerned about with Mr. Perry, but
Okay. Now, is it true that you were being recently considered for a promotion at Fizz Enterprises, Mrs. Perry? And please just say yes or no. You thought that your friendship with Ryan Reynolds would help you get this promotion.
Yes, but not only that.
Okay, but please say yes or no. You believe that this friendship would help you get the promotion.
Yes, but
Yes,
not.
thank you. Now, as an employee of Fizz Enterprises, you were aware that the company was hosting a conference at the Hampton Hotel, correct?
Yes.
And this conference took place on the 25th and 26th of October, correct?
Yes.
And you were an attendee of the conference, right?
Excuse me.
You attended the conference, yes? In fact, to help out Ryan Reynolds, you took over running the conference, correct?
Yes.
Did you book a room at the hotel for the
Objection of
conference?
relevance. Whether or not my client booked a room would not in any way link her more or less to the hotel, as the prosecution has already established that my client was at the hotel on the 25th and 26th and did not need to rent a room to be associated with it.
Ms. Farber, what say you?
Okay, as you know, Bailey Reynolds was held at the Hampton Hotel, including overnight. I'm trying to ascertain whether the witness was in the hotel overnight.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. So, did you book a room at the hotel for the conference?
No.
No. So you weren't there overnight, correct?
No.
And the conference ended on the 26th, correct?
Yeah.
Now, were you present for the testimony of Detective Walsh and Peyton Braylow? Were you in court for their testimony?
No.
Were you in the room when Detective Walsh and Ms. Braylow took the stand?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. So you heard them say